possibility that you might be pregnant? If there is, here are some of the early signs and symptoms that you may experience. Every woman I've spoke to seems to have a different telltale sign, but I hope this video will help you to know if you are. As you already know, the most common sign of being pregnant is a missed period. However, some women will still experience a small bleed in early pregnancy, which is usually lighter than a period. The reason for a missed period when you are pregnant is because when the egg is fertilised by the sperm, it releases hormones which prevents the lining of the womb from shedding, which happens when you have your period. The reason why some women will experience lighter bleeding than a period in early pregnancy is because the embryo plants itself in the wall of the womb, and this is called implantation bleeding. Nausea and vomiting is also very common in early stages of pregnancy, as when you are pregnant, the levels of your hormones will change drastically, and it can affect the part of your brain that controls vomiting. I have made a video on nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, so if this is something that you are struggling with, please check out the link in description, as there's a few tips in there on how you can manage it during your pregnancy. Another sign and symptom is exhaustion. You may notice that you are more tired than usual, and this is due to a combination of things. So the first one is because your levels of hormones change drastically, as I mentioned earlier. And secondly, your blood pressure tends to drop in early pregnancy, and it usually goes to its pre-pregnancy level towards the end of your pregnancy. So it is really important to rest as much as you can. You may also notice that you have tender or swollen breasts. These changes in your breast usually happen soon after conception. You may also notice that the veins are more visible, your nipples are getting darker, and you could also experience a tingling sensation, which is normal. You may also feel like you are weeing more often, and this is because of the womb growing and putting pressure on your bladder. However, if this is associated with any burning sensation, or you feel like you can't empty your bladder, then you should contact your local doctor, as you may have a water infection. And the last sign and symptom is food cravings. You may find that foods that you usually like, you don't like anymore, or you may find yourself craving foods that you don't usually eat. And interestingly, you are more sensitive to smells, so smells that you liked before you may not even be able to tolerate anymore, and this is normal, so it's nothing to worry about. If you think you might be pregnant after everything I've just spoke about, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing a pregnancy test. If it's positive, then that means you are pregnant, but if it's negative, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are not pregnant if you haven't had your period yet, and should be repeated a few days later. If you still haven't had a period and your pregnancy test is still negative, then do contact your local doctor. And so that brings me to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, then please do just let me know in the comments, and I'll come back to you as soon as I can.